This is Election Brief. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. We're live on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 125 on all our social media handles at Joy News on TV. My personal handle is @Denana Aisha. Election headquarters is brought to you by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, SEMA, and AICPA together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants, German Ozone Medical Center. Alternative therapy, dental, wellness and beauty, Chopbox Technologies, a convenient service, and the Youth Bridge Foundation. Election headquarters is for an informed electorate. Former President and 2024 flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama, says he will curtail the excessive politicization of our institutions, including the judiciary, the Electoral Commission, and other independent constitutional bodies through major constitutional reforms. He says he will also deal with the situation of a bloated government and replace it with a much leaner one. John Dramani Mahama says he will cancel attendant governance costs, including the payment of utility bills, fuel, and ex gratia. How will he achieve all of these? I have been joined by special aide of John Dramani Mahama, Joyce Bar Mokhtari, for more. Grateful for your time, Madam Bar Mokhtari. The judiciary, the Electoral Commission, and the other independent constitutional bodies, you say you will be doing this, you'll be curtailing the politicization. Tell me how you intend to do this. Kindly unmute for me.
Good afternoon to you, and thank you very, very much. I mean, Aisha, you and I both live in Ghana, and I believe that each one of us appreciates the exigency of the day. We know that the country is literally on its knees, that we are literally broke. We are actually experiencing very high inflation. There's very little money to go around. Food is at the highest cost ever. We are literally struggling to keep head and soul together. And let me be very honest with you, that hardship is real. Poverty is real. Good health and bad health, either of them are things that all of us must be concerned about. The health of our economy, more than anything, is just as important. Of all the leaders that we have and of all the campaign conversations we've had so far, John Dramani Mahama was about the very first to speak about ex gratia. Surprisingly, I was able to have a conversation with our party chairman, who had years ago with my own father served on the assembly and served on the drafting and framers of the 1992 Constitution. And then he explained to me that at the time that Article 71 was conceived of, we didn't have that many persons in that category. We didn't have as many judges or even as many individuals on that list. Indeed, as part of the constitutional review process, Article 71 has come under enormous pressure and received the most comments from the good people of Ghana. And this is a result that we got from the referendum. Considering that there are many other groups of the executive who benefit from this particular clause of the Constitution, what Mr. Mahama has agreed to do is that for members of his own government, his appointees, don't expect ex gratia at the end of your tenure as a minister of state. That is the category that he spoke about. The rest of it, I'm sure, will come up in the negotiations and the conversations that will lead to the constitutional review process, which Ghanaians are actually yearning for. Indeed, the next thing I would like to talk about is that whether we like it or not, John Mahama ran a much leaner government than what we have today. He also ran fewer ministries. And if you recall, most of the ministries under the Mills Mahama administration now have multiple layers. Some have as many as 2 deputies, some even 3 deputies. At a time when there is so much corruption, don't you think that maybe fewer government appointees would probably even be one of the ways in which we fight corruption? That a smaller government is also a way that you can control, supervise, and monitor effectively. Above all, Why do we want to continue to benefit as ministers of state who receive a salary when majority of Ghanaians wallow in poverty? I think that leaders must also be conscious of the day. Leaders must be conscious of the circumstances, and every promise we make must be made within a certain context, Aisha. And I believe this is the
Rotated government is something that both the NPP and the NDC complain about when they are in opposition, actually, but do the reverse when they're given the mandate. Why should we believe your flag bearer if he says he will deal with this situation?
First, because he ran a much leaner government. Secondly, because he didn't have the Ministry of Transport, for example, having 3 other ministers to run one ministry where he only had 2 ministers. He has also promised that he will take a second look at all the challenges to do with the many ministries and government agencies that we have. Aisha, you see, I sometimes do not want to belabor the point. I'm sure you know, and you live in Ghana, that in the dying embers of this very corrupt administration, one that promised a better economy and has failed to fix it, one that promised even less debt, and today our debt is at 620 billion Ghana cedis and rising. A government that up to date is unable to pay pensioner bondholders what they owe them, and yet continues to make these very verbose appointments. Indeed, I've also read from the Honorable Samia Blakwa, who is a ranking member on foreign affairs, that it even takes a while for credentials of these appointments to come through. And so even he is surprised that the president will be making these last-minute appointments at this time. We are also informed that the executive secretary to the president is now an ambassador at large. What has been the contribution of the former ambassadors at large that you and I heard announcements being made about? What has been their contribution to the failures of this government? Indeed, when Ghanaians are wallowing under enormous burdens of harsh taxes, let me indicate without any fear of contradiction, John Mahama has led this country before. John Mahama comes with enormous experience. John Mahama is a man you can trust and one who is not flip-flopping at this time. I don't want to compare peaches and apples. We know who speaks and walks his talk. We know an individual who lied about every economic policy that he knew absolutely nothing about.
Explain to me, Madam Bao Mukhtari.
None of them worked.
Explain to me how you intend to cancel utility bills like fuel, utility bills, electricity, water, fuel that will power the vehicles that work in government institutions and still get government machinery to run. How do you intend to do this? I mean, it doesn't look realistic.
Aisha, it is very, very easy and it's actually very realistic. One of the things I want us all to remember every time we have these debates is that let's look at the context. Ghana is very broke right now. Look at the opulence of current ministers and appointees of government. Is that what you want to continue to see? Or you would rather see a much more leaner administration, a modest one? I used to be an international public servant. I don't remember my employer paying for my utilities at all. And so when I came into public service here in Ghana, and realized for the very first time that even my DSTV was on my pay slip, I was actually very, very surprised. I remember the first time I was supposed to take a trip on the public service bill. When I received my per diem, it amused me even more. I never received any of these things when I worked as an international public servant. And I have no doubt in my mind that any individual who qualifies to be a minister of state earns a good salary. So why then would you need someone to pay for utilities such as light and water and all these basic amenities? I think that we are in very difficult times. We need to focus more on growth. We need to focus on uniting the country. We need to focus on building an economy that serves each and every person's interest, not just a few. It is wrong to continue to have this very heavy upwards appointments living very largely. And then when you look at it downstairs, people are wallowing in abject poverty. Any citizen of Ghana who goes out there to queue to elect John Mahama into office will be doing that for 2 reasons. 1, because they trust him. 2, because they believe in his policies and his vision. 3, because they believe that he will deliver on the things that he's promised to do.
All right.
Reducing and removing utilities, Aisha, is very, very easy. Have you noticed that public institutions owe huge sums of money to public utilities companies? So imagine adding the cost of the bungalows and the offices that we occupy. That within itself is mind-boggling. But Aisha, Why would anybody even ask someone like me a question like this? We heard about PDS, a compact that was negotiated by the Mills Mahama administration, and how it was literally shared to persons who were not even qualified. We lost $12 million in that exercise. Imagine what $12 million can do for the 16 regions of Ghana, for the individuals who will never, ever serve in government, have a seat in government, or benefit even from free government utilities. I think that there are some things that the incoming administration must ask its own appointees to sacrifice.
I'm grateful for your
the
time.
office of government, yes, absolutely.
Briefly for me, wrap it up for me, Madam Joyce Moktari, but I'm even sure you've made the point that John Mahama will reduce utility tariffs, and these are things will be holding the NDC government accountable in the event it comes to power. I'm grateful for your time. Joyce Moktari is a special aide to the former President John Mahama and the 2024 NDC flag bearer of the NDC. Let's now take you to the Electoral Commission, where the Electoral Commissioner Jane Adukwe-Mensah is in a crucial meeting with the Peace Council. My colleague Latif Idris is there monitoring this meeting for us, and earlier he spoke with the Electoral Commissioner. First, Latif Idris, what can you tell us about this meeting?
Okay, Aisha, so this meeting was called by the National Peace Council. So, in fact, I'm at the premises or just on the streets that goes in front of the National Peace Council and not at the Electoral Commission headquarters. Because the meeting was called by the National Peace Council, and among other things, what they wanted to put before the Electoral Commission is to how to go about the upcoming elections. So according to the chairperson of the Peace Council, they've given some suggestions to the Electoral Commission on what to do, what not to do, to ensure that before, during, and even after the elections, we still have the peace of this country and Ghana remains intact without any breaches as far as electoral violence are concerned. I caught up with the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, but briefly, Aisha, that was exactly what happened here at the office of the National Peace Council. The meeting, as we speak, has just ended, and the Electoral Commission team has gone back to their headquarters, and the Peace Council, they are still engaging in one or two meetings just behind me here, which still has to do with some of the things they want to go along with the Electoral Commission to do in order to have a successful election come December 7th, Aisha.
Latif Idris there with some updates from the National Peace Council's office and how they're strategizing with the Electoral Commission to collaborate before, after, and even during the December 7 election to ensure the elections are peaceful. Of course, prior to this, you've heard calls from the Peace Council, the clergy, CSOs, and other bodies who are calling for peaceful elections. This definitely is the step towards engaging the Electoral Commission and also collaborating on how they can get the elections to run smoothly, devoid of violence. Listen to Electoral Commissioner Jane Adukwe-Mensah, who spoke with Latif Idris earlier.
Now in attendance.
I think it's great to have the NDC back. As you yourself mentioned, they had been missing at IPAC for, a long time. We are well aware that they are very important stakeholders in our body politic. They are the main opposition and they constitute a formidable force. So it's of great benefit to all of us that they've returned to IPAC. And the discussions have been going on very well. They've been very constructive. There has been valuable feedback that has come from the NDC as well as some of the other parties. And we've taken those, on board, and we've, inputted them, and we're working to implement them in our processes. And so for the just ended registration exercise, there was, valuable feedback that the NDC brought on board. And we've considered quite a number of the ideas and the suggestions, and we've taken them on board. So we continue to engage in a constructive way.
Clearly there was that rift, that friction between the Electoral Commission and the opposition NDC. How have you managed, last but one, how have you managed to oil it again, to have a fluid relationship between your outfit and the opposition NDC? And to tie in the next question, they've raised concerns about some recruitment that you made ahead of the recently ended, program that you had for voter transfer.
I'm not answering.
Okay, so the first
Let's
question.
focus on IPAC. I think the relationship has gone well. As I mentioned to you, there's been constructive dialogue at IPAC. Issues are discussed, issues are raised, and they are discussed in an open manner. And I did mention that the NDC has been very constructive. They've brought on board very useful feedback that has gone a long way to strengthen aspects of our work. So we believe that even as we go on in the lead up to the elections, as we discuss issues of importance to our country and to the election, we'll continue to receive useful feedback that we'll use and implement for our work. Thank you. I have to go.
Thank you very much.
Joy News can exclusively report that the flag bearer of the new Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahama Baumia, has consulted President Akufo-Addo on his choice of a running mate for the December 7 presidential elections. Who is this person and what is next? My colleague on the political desk and also presidential correspondent Elton Broby has been breaking it down for us.
Meeting, the flag bearer of the NPP was also the Vice President, Dr. Mahama Baumia, met with President Akufo-Addo to, the meeting was essentially for Dr. Baumia to tell the President his choice of a running mate and to seek his blessing. We understand that President Akufo-Addo has some advice, has some concerns. By the end of the meeting, the President accepted the choice of Dr. Baumia's running mate for election 2024. And this meeting took place last night at the Jubilee House.
Also, who is this person we're talking about?
From our checks, the running mates, from our checks from the meeting, from the name that we understand, he disclosed at this meeting with the President. He mentioned the name of the Member of Parliament for Menchia South, Dr. Mazopoku Prempo, who is currently the Energy Minister. That is the name we are told Dr. Baumia disclosed at this meeting with President Akufo-Addo.
Is this choice flowing from the recent National Intelligence Bureau survey?
Aisha, is unclear, but we do understand that they also looked at who is more popular in the party, who has the support of the grassroots, and who will help complement this ticket. What we also do understand is that even before Dr. Baumia won the flag bearership race of the NPP in November, he was clear in his mind who was going to work with in terms of his running mate. So this name, even though may have been influenced by the survey conducted by the National Intelligence Bureau, we also do understand that it's always been under the consideration, and for that reason, it didn't come up as a surprise.
What's next, Elton?
Again, we are also picking information that there's likely to be a council meeting of the NPP where Dr. Baumia is expected to also formally announce his name to the council of the party. The council of the party is made up of very influential organs of the party, the elders, the NEC, and the steering committee. So everybody who matters in the NPP is a member of the council of the party. So at this meeting, the choice will be disclosed before the council of the party, and then if the council accepts, then a formal announcement to that effect will be made.
Right, Elton Broby is... Right, so you heard Elton Broby breaking it all down for us. He spoke with me earlier on Joy News today. And let's take a break on Election Brief. When we return, there is more we'll be bringing your way. Welcome back to Election Brief. A member of the NDC's 2024 Manifesto Committee, Michael Harry Yamson, has indicated the NDC would be able to provide the needed energy to run the 24-hour economy when voted into power. He says it was a former President John Mahama who resolved the energy crisis before exiting power and therefore is capable of providing the energy the country needs to run the 24-hour economy. Mr. Yamson says he said this at a symposium organized by the NDC to educate Ghanaians on the benefits of the 24-hour economy.
The symposium, which was under the theme Envisioning Avenues for Ghanaian Youth and Budding Entrepreneurs, brought together experts to help explain the policy to the ordinary Ghanaian. According to the party, it was also to dispel disinformation by opponents who seem to suggest the party does not know what the policy brings to the economy. Speaking at the event, Michael Harry Yamson said what the 24-hour economy seeks to do is to move from an economy of where only 1.5 million people have the security of knowing where their livelihood will come from at a point in time to a Ghana where everybody will have the opportunity to earn a living.
So what the 24-hour economy policy aims to do is to move Ghana from an economy where only 1 in 5 people has the security of knowing where their livelihood will come from to a Ghana where everybody will have the opportunity to earn a decent living. At the end of the day, the question is, what is the 24-hour economic policy about? It is about jobs. It is about making sure that we take the things that work today in Ghana, make them bigger, make them better, make them employ more of us, create for us the opportunity to export Ghana to the world.
The National Youth Organizer, George Opari, said it was sad that the economy had been run down to the extent that 8.4 million Ghanaians have gone a day without a meal.
I saw a report from the Statistical Service that scared me a bit. And what the report said was that in the last 6 months, 8.4 million Ghanaians have gone a day without food. And if you are Ghanaian, maybe you have not gone a day without food.
Time now to hear from you, the electorate. We are in OT region today.
Let's say that party it will be either Mahama or Bawumia, but I'll actually vote for Mahama.
Why?
Because when he was the president at, let's say, when he was the president, I think things were far good than this. Because I'm a driver. Ever since then, I was driving the way I buy spare part, and then I work at least at the end of the day. At least I'll have my sales and then have something for my pocket. But these days it wasn't like that again, because when you go and come buy your petrol, then the next thing, the money that will remain, you can't do as much savings that you want to do.
Your friend is talking about the road network, that it has been improved, and so relatively buying of spare parts and then the damage to your cars will have to reduce. What do you make of that one?
For that one is very sure, because formerly the road wasn't like this. We suffered a lot, but now at least from KJB up to Sanko is far good, and it helps us. But the short stretch that remains is a major problem to us. You wouldn't see that it's very short.
That's between Santo Kofi and then Hogway.
It's very creating big problem to our cars. We are suffering of it. So if you play the government that it should do something. It should do something so that maybe some of us who maybe wants to vote for the party B maybe can change our mind.
But that short distance, is that going to affect your decision as to whether you vote for, you still maintain your Mahama vote, or you give it to Bawumia vote?
For sure, I'll vote for Mahama no matter what.
But even if they fix that stretch, it's not going to change.
No problem. I'll vote for him because he's my man.
Oh, for that one, the government want this time we with the drivers. We will defeat to see what is going on. Formerly, KJB to Papa, you will not get ADFAT. We didn't get ADFAT. But now, we the drivers now will get ADFAT. Formerly, small car cannot run from KJB to Papa, only big cars. So as we did now we thank God. When we watch with the small cars they because of the road network. So we thank
So for you, the road network has been improved, and that is why you are going to vote for Party A or Party B?
Yes.
Which party are you going to vote for?
For me, as I did the party who down for me for ADFAT, we are going to vote MPP.
But apart from that, looking at the economy, how is the economy going to affect you going to the December elections?
Yes, sir. This time, formally now, see, half of world now, we are the glory. Formally time, you see, this COVID-19, the system, it didn't cause all the whole world. You call them the whole world. But fact, though we know say it be all well done.
But is the economy affecting you in any way?
Formally, the economy.
No, we are talking about now. Is it affecting you in any way?
No, for economy.
Because you are a driver, you buy fuel, you go. Your wife goes to the market.
Yes.
Is everything okay economically with you?
Already, things they high. Things they high. For things they high now. But formally now, we shall all management will do something.
Okay, actually my name is Apia Raymond. I'm a taxi driver. I was a taxi driver at KGB station here. But due to one and two things, I stopped driving now. I'm now doing Semija. Because previous time, when we are working, we used to get our assist, like how my brother have said. It's very true. But these days, my car is parked at a just kind of fitting shop for 1.5 years now. Because papers and everything are very costly. But I was a Party A member. What I mean, I was one MPP member. But to be frank, how things are going now, 1.5 years now, I can't repair my car. So the little that I have, I went and bought a motorbike to do a Semija. And now today I'm getting something out of it. So if I may say other party will come in, I will say that everything will be, you know what I mean.
So what is the situation with you? Let's have your thoughts.
Actually, my situation is about the economy. It's very hard for us. And then moreover, our this car work, when the fuel is down or transportation is down, we all feel comfortable. The passengers will feel comfortable, and then we the driver to feel comfortable. Not that the fuel will be high, spare parts will be high, and then we also worry the passenger, even the little bag that the person will bring. I have to charge it so that I cover something that I can square myself.
And this is your election brief. Your election brief is on your election headquarters. Election headquarters is for an informed electorate. You can log on to myjoyonline.com for more of the news and updates of all the developing stories. Over there, you see stories including Baumia presents Opoku Prempe's name as choice of a running mate to Akufo-Addo. You would also see selection of Rock City for Senate. Hotels was clean. Board chair Elizabeth Ohene, and 50% of Ghanaian doctors now working abroad due to poor working conditions. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.